Alright.
How's it going?
I'm Sarah and he's James and we're the Hold or Nothing.
Welcome back to our How to Travel the Basics series. We wanted to kick it off with something spectacular. So we're going to tell you all about our 10 biggest travel mistakes, and every single one of them could have been avoided.
Alright, straight in at number 10.
Leaving our electrics in an Airbnb.
Okay, so this one's still a bit of a touchy subject, and it's a bit contentious between the two of us because I still maintain that it was Sarah's fault. Sarah still reckons it was mine. It wasn't. Anyway, just to set the scene, we were in a lovely little Airbnb. We spent a couple of weeks there. We were just about to leave to catch a flight. We'd cut it pretty fine. I think we had a couple of hours to get there and get on the flight. We walk out the door, shut the door. I said to Sarah, "Have you got the electrics bag?" She looked at me. "No." "You've got it, haven't you?" She thought I was playing a joke. I wasn't playing a joke. Sarah always carries it in her bag, and she didn't have it. We'd left the keys inside, so we couldn't get back inside. We called the guy who owned the Airbnb. He said he was at work, there's no way he could get around there. So we had to just leave it. We had to go to the airport and just leave our electrics bag there. Now I figured out what happened, and this is how I know it was Sarah's fault. Because before we leave an Airbnb, we always try and leave it in as good a condition as possible. So that means cleaning it up a little bit, making it tidy, so that when they walk in, it looks good. Sarah made the bed. I don't know why you'd make the bed. Sarah made the bed and actually put the duvet over our electrics case. So when we did the final check, which we always do to make sure that we've got everything, we couldn't see it. Fortunately, it wasn't actually too far away and we were coming back to the UK, so we managed to get the Airbnb host, to post it to us, and it wasn't too expensive. However, for the couple of days that it was missing, we couldn't do any work because it had all of our laptop chargers, it had our phone chargers, everything that you need to be a blogger basically, and we had none of it.
It was still definitely your fault.
Your fault. Your fault. 100%.
Can I just add though, that the reason that I think it's your fault is because you were the one packing the electrical bag. So yes, I carry it, but you pack the little bag.
And then you put a duvet over it.
And you're also the one that does the final checks.
It was under a duvet.
We don't actually know this for definite.
We do. I asked the host and they told me it was under the duvet.
In at number 9.
Totally ignoring baggage limits.
So this was on our way back from a return trip to Europe where we'd just gone hand luggage only. So we kind of maxed it out, hadn't we? Like, we'd taken as much as we could, maybe a little bit more, but they hadn't checked it on the way out at all. And then on the way back we had exactly the same amount of stuff, and the woman was like, So we had to stuff everything. It was quite warm as well, wasn't it?
It was really warm.
It was summer, so we had to put our coats on and our rain jackets and stuff everything all in our pockets and in our jeans and everything. It was really, really hot, wasn't it?
It was.
And you hear about these things happening, that people do that so they don't have to pay extra luggage or whatever, but I've never actually seen it happen, and then it happened to us. And then the worst thing was as well, it did seem to be just that one woman that was being really strict, because after we'd done all that stuff and worn all our things, we went through a different way. And the guy was just go through. He wasn't bothered at all, was he? Could have taken anything through.
Absolutely.
So yeah, make sure that you don't flout the baggage rules because it might backfire.
And if you do, make sure that you go to the counter where the person is really flexible rather than the one that looks like a dragon and will tell you to turn around and chuck some of your stuff away.
Number 8.
Forgetting to take your travel sickness pills.
For those of you who don't know, Sarah suffers really badly from travel sickness, which is not the best thing to have when you travel pretty much constantly. But anyway, she has to take travel sickness pills in order to feel alright on any journey, whether that's a plane journey, a train, a car, anything. We'd booked a dolphin watching tour off the coast of Mexico, and it'd been my dream for ages. I absolutely love dolphins and I wanted to go out and see them. We booked this tour, I was so excited. I don't even get excited, but I was super excited. We got there early, it was maybe about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we got on this boat and we got out riding the waves, and then suddenly I turned around, Sarah was looking absolutely white as a sheet, whiter than normal. I said to her, "What's the problem? What's up? Are you okay?" She said, I've forgotten to take my travel sickness bill.
Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it? I genuinely felt really, really bad. Like, not just for you, for the other people. Like, it wasn't as bad when we were moving, but because we were looking for the dolphins, we like stopped where there were like a pod of dolphins, like when the captain saw them, and then like just that movement of like the gentle movement, and I was just, I'm not normally sick, like physically sick when I get travel sick, but this time, yeah, I was just heaving over the side of the boat, and I felt so bad because it was so peaceful, and like it was only like a small group of about 10 people, wasn't it? And
yeah.
They were all like there to watch the dolphins, and yeah, it was just sort of the soundtrack of me being sick.
But luckily for Sarah, it wasn't only her, there was someone else who was actually being sick as well. So they were doing it in tandem over different sides of the boat. It was pretty disgusting.
It was awful, wasn't it?
It was. The captain said to us, do you want to carry on? We'd only been out there about half an hour. We had seen a dolphin though,
Yeah.
which was a good thing. The captain basically turned the boat around and took us back. So what should have been a dream dolphin watching trip turned into watching Sarah throw up over the side of a boat.
Don't forget to take your travel sickness pill, peeps, if you get travel sickness. Number 7.
Not booking accommodation in advance.
Uh-oh!
So we've actually got a couple of examples of this. The first one was in Brazil when we were backpacking there, and I think it was because we hadn't actually realised what time of year it was, but we were on our way to Rio and we were like, oh, it's going to be carnival. Obviously we'll go. And it was like 2 weeks before or something, and we just couldn't find any accommodation anywhere, could we? We ended up in this like grotty hostel, like it didn't have any air conditioning, it didn't have any windows, like the room that we were in, and like the beds were so close together in the dorm room that you were basically just like sleeping with everyone else. It was horrible. And then Carnival was good, but you know.
Yeah.
And then the second one was when we were in Mexico. So we were in Mexico for quite a long time, like 8 months or something. So we hadn't gone specifically for Day of the Dead, but it just so happened that we were in Oaxaca, which is one of the cities where it's most celebrated by tourists. So there's a lot of people go there. And yeah, we ended up in this hotel that was like way out of town. Again, really grotty, dingy. I think we were like the only guests as well or something.
Yeah.
And it was like down this really sketchy path where there wasn't any transport to and from, and yeah. Anyway, just make sure that if there's going to be a holiday or a festival or something, even if you're not going to it, that you book your accommodation far enough in advance. In at number 6.
Let's tell the time, mate.
What?
So this is actually a really basic thing of being able to tell the date and time. We were flying from a little island in Colombia to mainland Colombia to take a connecting flight, a big connecting flight that cost quite a lot of money from Colombia direct to China. And we very nearly got the times wrong for the initial connecting flight. It was something like 0002. And we, for some reason, thought that was like the next day, not like that night. And it was only when the owner of the hostel that we were staying in was printing our boarding tickets for us. He was like, guys, you do know this flight's tonight, right, and not tomorrow night? Because we'd already booked in for another night, hadn't we, with him? And we were like, what? And he was like, yeah, you kind of like need to go to the airport now. And we were like, bit. So we like packed really quickly, rushed there. Thankfully got the plane and got the connecting flight for the big flight, but yeah, that could have been a really expensive mistake.
Yeah, I think the problem was that it had the date printed on. So when it said the next day, we imagined it was the next day.
Yeah.
Not in a few hours.
Yeah, which it kind of was the next day, but
technically.
Yeah, don't let that catch you out. Number 5.
Booking a month-long hen party.
Sarah was maid of honour for her sister's wedding. Now, as part of those duties, she had to organise a hen do. She'd planned a lovely long weekend away in Dublin, Ireland, but actually managed to book a whole month away for the entire party. How in the hell did that happen?
So, when I was booking the flights, I accidentally booked the wrong date for the return ones. What happened was, there was the same day and date in the next month. So say for example it was Monday the 12th of February. There was also a Monday the 12th in March, and I just clicked the wrong thing. Thankfully it was okay, because when the confirmation came through, I put it to our joint email address, and Jay saw it pop up, so he was like, why have you...
For a month, are you?
Luckily I managed to change it because the airline allowed you to make changes within an hour, and there were spaces on the flight that I meant to book on. So yeah, it was all fine in the end. I don't even know if I've told my sister this actually.
Ooh, Rach, now you know. Could have been a disaster.
Yeah, because that would have been an expensive one. Because everyone had given me the money to do it, like it was on me. I wouldn't have been able to say to them, yeah, soz, you're gonna have to give me it again.
And this is why I book all of our flights.
Right, we're getting into serious stuff now. The stuff that wasn't just near misses, but that had consequences. Number 4.
Buying the world's most expensive burger.
So we pride ourselves on getting the cheapest flights that we can. So we sometimes fly via different places. So we were on our way back from Thailand to the UK, and this cheap flight route was via Denmark. They were like a couple of £100, like really cheap, weren't they? Like basic economy, in a budget airline. It was a 12-13 hour flight, but we didn't read the details, but we assumed that you were going to get food during a long haul flight. You didn't. Nada. We didn't get anything. Like, they started bringing the food round, like all the meals and stuff, and there was nothing coming to our trays, and we asked him, and they were like, looked at our tickets, they were like, no, not for you.
No.
So we managed to there wasn't really anything to buy, was there? There was like some peanuts or some crisps that were like really overpriced. You could buy alcohol, but we hadn't eaten, and we wanted food and alcohol. So we ended up with like some really crappy snacks. Got off the flight, absolutely starving. First thing we saw was Burger King. Like, we don't even really like Burger King, do we? Like, not massive fast food people. But we ran straight in there, like literally ran, like with our backpacks. Got the food. I can't remember what we ordered, but I went and got a table. You paid, didn't you? Sat down, scoffed it, and you didn't tell me straight away, did you?
I think it was about 2 days later that I pulled out the receipt and said, do you want to see how much that Burger King cost? It was €40. €40.
40. Like, you would have think we'd ordered like the whole menu
For
twice.
2 meals, €40.
And I think when we looked back, it would have been like £8 or something to actually book for us to eat on the plane. So it would have been way cheaper. So yeah, cheapest isn't always best. Okay, number 3.
Not checking visa regulations.
Oof!
So one of the worst things that you can do when you've been travelling a while is get complacent with things, including visa regulations. We travel in South America quite a lot, and a lot of the countries are the same when it comes to allowing 90-day visas on arrival. You normally get 2 within the year. This is for UK citizens anyway. We thought Bolivia was the same. It wasn't. We planned on being there for 3 months, so we booked a flat for that entire time, had our Spanish lessons sorted, everything set up, got there, realised that because we'd been to Bolivia for a month prior earlier that year, we weren't entitled to the 90 days that we thought we were going to get. And it was just a right plan, wasn't it? We spent like a whole week at the immigration office, like we had to apply for different visas, like no one really knew what we needed to apply for. Like, they were so rude. Like, our Airbnb host had to help us write some letters, we had to get stuff translated at the lawyers, and it was just a right drama. And had we have known, we would have just booked an Airbnb and spent 3 months in another country where we would have just got the visas on arrival. There you go. That's it, job's a good one.
The other thing to bear in mind with visa regulations is that they regularly change, so you cannot assume anything. Make sure that you always check the visa regulations before you go absolutely anywhere.
And number 2.
Trying to get Chinese visas in Colombia.
You've probably wondered at one time in your life or another, is it possible to pick up a visa for China in Colombia? No, it's not, is the answer. We tried it and we can confirm it's absolutely not possible at all. We had not picked up visas in the UK for China, and we thought it would be possible to do it in Bogota because there's a Chinese embassy there. We spent about 4 days visiting the embassy. 2 of those days we didn't even get inside the embassy because the queue was so long. On the 3rd day we got in, we got shouted at. The guy made Sarah cry, basically told us to be gone, that we needed a load of different documents. We came back the next day with what we thought were the correct documents, only to be told that we weren't actually able to get the visa there, we had to get it in the UK. We already had a very expensive flight booked from Bogota to Beijing, so it's not something that we wanted to just give up on. And also, going back to the UK really wasn't an option that we wanted to do because that would have been ridiculous, flying back to the UK to fly to China.
Yeah, it was so bad. The other thing that made it so frustrating was that we were only in Bogota for like a week, weren't we? So we spent like all our time queuing up outside the embassy. We had to get there like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was pitch black. It was a bit sketchy area, wasn't it? Like, it just wasn't very good. And the guy actually did speak English that we were dealing with, because we heard him speaking English, but he just refused to speak English to us. Like, he would only speak in Chinese or Spanish to us, and at the time we didn't speak any Spanish. We don't speak Chinese, so yeah, it was just one big drama that wasn't very nice. Don't recommend it.
All in all, the long and short of that story is, if you need a visa for China, get it in your home country.
Okay, number 1, the worst travel mistake that we've ever made.
Throwing away our Chilean visas.
Oh man!
So this is more visa woes, and it's actually another Sarah special, and there's no way that she could possibly pin it on me because I literally saw her do it with my own 2 eyes. I'll let you tell this one.
We were in the north of Chile and we were due to cross the border the next day into Bolivia. We were actually doing it on an excursion, part of the tour that we were doing. And for some reason, I decided that I was going to tidy out our document wallet that we have, that we keep all our passports in, visas, important paperwork, etc. But when you've been through a lot of countries, you just end up with like scraps of paper that you don't need anymore. So I don't even know why I ripped them either. Like, I literally ripped up these bits of paper that were part of our Chilean visas and threw them in the bin. And then we found out from the tour company that we needed them to cross the border. Like, you couldn't do it without these bits of paper. And it was quite late at night. The bin had been emptied in the hotel, and the police station was already closed, which is where we needed to go to try and sort the process out. So what ended up happening was we had to leave like an hour early to go on this tour. Like, everyone on the tour, like, we made them get up an hour early. I felt really bad about that. So that we could go to the police station to get these bits of paper re-stamped that we needed. And it was fine in the end, wasn't it? But yeah, it was a lot of stress for no reason. So now I just don't do anything with the travel wallet. It's James's responsibility. Like, he has all the paperwork in there. I just don't touch it.
Look, these things happen when you travel, regardless of how much experience you've got. But the most important thing to remember is that more often than not, you can usually sort them out.
Guys, let us know in the comments what you thought was our worst travel mistake, and also if you've had any of your own from previous trips that you've done. Make sure you subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. See ya!
Bye.